And so I realized, guess what, y'all? The world teaches their people to hate Black Americans.
We can't work with Akata. That's a word that they were calling the American blacks, Akata, the Nigerians. Akata is a word that they use for American blacks. And Wesley Snipes was like, yo, what is this Akata shit you keep calling us? And the guy goes, we don't want to work with cotton pickers.
Akata is nothing negative. Akata is an American black person.
When Africans say Akata just means Black American, they're lying. It's basically their way of calling us the N-word.
What is the trace of your culture you're talking about? What is the American culture? I want to know, what is the Black American culture? I keep hearing this culture. Bro, the Black Americans are the culture, maybe baby mama culture. You know, baby, single women having 3 kids. That's probably their culture. Or the numbers of the highest incarcerated black young men in America. That's their culture. I don't know. Is it the pum culture? The gang banging culture? Is that the culture? Bro, I don't know why they want the Black Americans feel like they should be the center of black people around the world, or they should be the face of black people around the world. Why?
I'm African American. He is straight African. How do Africans see African American?
We see y'all's honestly as, if you want the truth, we see y'all's as our heroes that have given up on themselves.
No, I'm sorry. I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture. I'm sorry.
Black Americans got culture. Americans got culture. You rolling.
I need somebody with culture.
Americans don't have culture.
I got culture.
Somali says Black Americans don't know their fathers.
African Americans, they don't even know their fathers. They don't even know their fathers. It was all of them, most of them were the product of one night stand. One night stand.
I just don't care. After I Show Speed's Africa tour, you really can't convince me that Africans hate Black Americans. You just can't, because the reaction has been nothing but love and not hostility.
Thank you, family, for showing up. So everybody has an opinion about Black Americans, right from Africans to the immigrants, to the media, and even, some Black Americans. So while some people say that Black Americans are respected, others say they're tolerated at best and maybe resented at worst. And what's interesting isn't just about what people think about Black Americans, it's how confident they are in those opinions, even those who have never lived the Black American experience, and some have never interacted with Black Americans in the first place. Anyway, this video isn't about, judging or proving whoever is right or wrong. It's about listening carefully, folks. Because, when praise, when criticism, when admiration and resentment all exist at the same time, there's usually a deeper story underneath. So let's talk about what people really think about Black Americans and why Black Americans themselves don't even agree on this subject matter. And a little bit of context, would matter. You see, I started this show to, highlight grounded Black American stuff. Then I got bombarded with, a couple of videos of people speaking differently about Black Americans. So I decided to dig deeper. Into the video, I'll be playing a couple of clips of various creators reacting to this subject matter. Full credit belongs to each of them. Consider supporting their work by checking out their content. And if you're new here, consider watching to the very end, up to the point when I chime in with my commentaries on this topic. Then you can decide to subscribe if you find value in whatever you say. Meanwhile, I invite everyone watching to drop their opinions about what they think about Black Americans in the comment section below. So I'll see you guys at the very end of this with my commentaries.
I'm African American. He is straight African. How do you see African Americans?
I see y'all as slaves.
And what makes us slaves?
Because you built a nation that controls you.
How does it control us? We got NBA, NFL, we running it.
They use you as dancers and entertainers.
But they paying us $100 million plus.
Yeah, but then they own the money.
I don't care about nationalities. It's all about the personality to me.
You just said
No. I'm sorry. I can't do Americans. I need somebody with culture. I'm sorry.
Black Americans got culture. Americans got culture. You rolling.
I didn't know
Don't
I
do
was
that.
culture.
Americans don't have culture.
I got culture.
We got
like,
the culture. We are the culture.
1804. I'm the reason why you have your independence.
Wait, when you say Haiti's the reason Americans got their independence, what do you mean by that?
We set the thing. We the one that said it. 1804. We was the first free independent Caribbean country.
But what that got to do with America?
African Americans.
We said it, and then y'all followed.
Y'all said it for yourselves, not for no
We said
black
it, and then
Americans.
y'all followed.
And we set the stage for y'all immigrants to come over here and profit off of America.
And you're mad that we came to. Oh,
No, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I'm telling you what black culture provided for you and your family.
Somali says black Americans don't know their
Especially
fathers.
African Americans, they don't even know their fathers. They don't even know their fathers. It was all of them, most of them were the product of one night stand. One night stand. They will tell you, I don't know my father. Well, who named you? Whose name are you carrying? Well, my mother chose his name for me. I don't know. Is that what we want for our ummah?
Black Americans aren't racist against anyone. There's not a plurality of Black Americans that agree that one ethnicity or race is less than. But everyone is racist against Black Americans. Asians, East Asians, South Asian. Obviously white people, Europeans, Australians, Arabs of the Middle East or even Northern Africa. Native Americans, Africans. Africans have found a way to be racist against Black Americans. Latin Americans, Dominicans. Why is everyone obsessed with you people? It is so disconcerting. It makes absolutely no sense to me. They steal everything from you. Your language, your music, your style, your food, and then they say none of that exists. That you are a people without a culture. Oh, there must be something real special about you guys if you have the entire world on your ass for nothing. Everyone has a notion of what a Black American is or does. They think they know. Most of these people haven't even met a Black American person in their life. As an Ethiopian American, I've had to work to untangle my identity as an Ethiopian from the real life lived experiences and heritage of foundational Black Americans, because there is a difference. And the more I untangle, the more I just realize how preoccupied the globe is with Black American people. Not me. I'm an Ethiopian American. I'm talking about the descendants of freedmen, the foundational Black Americans, the Solani people, whatever you want to call them.
What is African culture? You wash your kid's head in cow pee. You know, I see a lot of Africans, they bend their head under cows and let cows piss on their head. Y'all don't even live past 35. The oldest African in Africa right now is probably 42. How many countries in Africa? 107? Not one of them are ran by Africans. The smartest person in Africa lives in Burkina Faso. Y'all don't have a culture. White people told y'all what y'all culture is.
What is the culture? Bro, let me educate you. Every culture starts from a language, a tribe. Every tribe have a language. What is it? Apart from English, what other language do Americans speak? The Black Americans. The Mexicans in America speak Spanish. They have something they speak outside English. The Asians the Chinese, everybody speak their language outside English. What do you speak? What is the trace of your culture you're talking about? What is the American culture? I want to know, what is the Black American culture? I keep hearing this culture. Bro, the Black Americans are the culture, maybe baby mama culture. You know, baby, single women having 3 kids. That's probably their culture. Or the numbers of the highest incarcerated Black young men in America. That's their culture. I don't know. Is it the pim culture? The gang banging culture? Is that the culture? Bro, the Black American culture is about wearing, let's say, wearing the Nikes, wearing they want to be on the trend game, you know? These are the culture. But I don't know why the Black Americans feel like they should be the center of Black people around the world, or they should be the face of Black people around the world. Why? Bro, you can have your face. See, you don't even have to declare yourself that you are not African, you are not African American. Bro, nobody give a flying damn about what you think about yourself. That's your own opinion and your own mentality, your own narrative of everything, how you are. That nobody cares. But bringing all your fights about Africa, bro, I don't get it. You talk about culture every time. What is the culture? I want to know. Genuinely, I'm asking. The hip hop. You want to say the hip hop? The music is your culture. I don't get it. Eminem is not black, but he do more hip hop probably than the Black Americans.
And I'm West African, Nigerian, but I was born in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska. My father went to school there. I have video on my Instagram. Comedian Godfrey, by the way. But it's the truth. Because if you remember the movie Sugar Hill.
Yep.
And there's a scene where they're doing the thing with the drug dealer, and the guy said, we can't work with Akata. We can't work with Akata. That's a word that they were calling the American blacks, Akata, the Nigerians. Akata is a word that they use for American blacks. And Wesley Snipes was like, yo, what is this Akata shit you keep calling us? And the guy goes, we don't want to work with cotton pickers. And then Wesley beats the shit out of them. But it's the truth. So African Americans and Africans have always had friction, you know what I'm saying? But Africans, and I know some Africans are going to probably be like, I don't like what you... Man, whatever.
People were upset over this clip. This clip started to go viral on Twitter.
Why are they getting upset at that? First of all, it's the truth. Africans come to America, and there's a lot of my African-American friends say, man, a lot of Africans are really mean towards us. They're really nasty towards us because they feel they're better towards us. And I think it's the wrong attitude to take because I'm West African, but I was born here. My friends are African-American and African. I think it's fucked up because here's the thing. Africa, like whether you say Nigerians or Ethiopians, whatever, we were colonized by Europeans, man. We were colonized. We were treated like shit. Look at South Africa. With all the Dutch, they've shit on South Africans, man. And finally, I think South Africans, with the help of Julius Malema and all these, they're trying to take some of their shit back. And the fact that a South African, a white South African calls himself African, to me, it's ridiculous. Like, you're Dutch. You just didn't leave. How the f do you steal African from somebody? How do you go? Listen, if I was born in China, Vlad, and I said I'm Chinese, I've lived there my whole life, would you believe me? Would you believe that I was Chinese if I said, listen, and I even have the accent, listen, I'm Chinese, I promise, I've been there all my life. Would you believe me?
Yes, I would.
You would say, I'm Chinese. You would believe I was Chinese. You wouldn't say, hey, you're a black dude. You just happen to be in China.
Third generation Chinese.
No, I was like, no, what if I lived there all my life, I'm Chinese. I go, ni hao, and I speak Taola.
You consider yourself American?
But what you would believe I was Chinese, though?
Well, I believe you're American.
Would you say I'm black first? Would you look at me as a black man first? I was like, if
you never open your mouth, first
I didn't open my mouth and I'm sitting like this.
I would first see you as a black person.
You would say there's a black man.
And then you would open your mouth and I
go, you wouldn't believe that shit. You'd be like, there's
a Chinese black guy.
There's a black dude doing some Chinese shit. I don't know what the fuck that was. But it's like when white South Africans, that's not even real. You're not even genetically an African. The fuck? You don't even live amongst the black ones. It's that same mentality that Africans have when they come to, and I've had relatives, man, I'm not gonna name them. I've had relatives go, oh, we're better than African Americans. I go, no, we're not. Because I was just stopped by the police the other day. And I'm gonna tell you, I used to try to use that African accent. You know what I mean? When police stop me, I say, I'm sorry, officer, what is the problem? I am not the same as them. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I'm not gonna act like, of course there's a slight cultural difference when you're African because you know what it is? In Africa, usually they'll show African Americans in a certain light.
Man, listen, I don't know what the fuck y'all be talking about. When y'all start talking that Africans hate Africans in America rhetoric bullshit, right? That ain't my experience. Personally, to me, right inside my phone right now, I know a couple Congolese brothers, I know a couple Somalian brothers, I know a couple Ethiopian brothers, I know a couple Nigerians, I know one of my closest homies is from Ghana, I know some South Africans, I know some Liberians, all of whom have a number in my phone that I can call at any time and who call me at any time. We chop it up about random shit, and these are continental born Africans who came here with their parents when they were young or whatever, whose parents also fuck with me, invite me to dinner all the time. So I don't know what the fuck y'all got going on, but my people's fuck with me the same way I fuck with them. Maybe y'all should move around a little bit.
I just don't care. After I Show Speed's Africa tour, you really can't convince me that Africans hate Black Americans. You just can't, because the reaction has been nothing but love and not hostility. Everywhere he's gone so far, people have shown him nothing but excitement towards him. If Africans hated Black Americans, you wouldn't see crowds welcoming him, celebrating him, and treating him like family. And most of the online narratives that some FBA folks be pushing don't match real life. It just doesn't, because most of the Africans hate Black Americans talk lives on social media. It lives online. Real life interactions show respect and connection. The internet exaggerates beef that regular people don't actually live by. And online beef looks serious, but regular people don't move like that in real life. And we're seeing it in real time because people in Africa relate to him as a young Black person and not as some American outsider. And that's what Pan-Africanism looks like in practice. And lastly, you got to think about it, because TikTok is a white bourgeoisie app, and so are Instagram and Facebook. So of course, these platforms are going to push content that makes it seem like Africans hate Black Americans and that Black Americans hate Africans. The elite doesn't want to see us united. So that's why we're going to have to take a step forward to actually put Pan-Africanism in practice.
So I'm in Kenya, and this is one of the first places where there's an overwhelming population of darkies. And when I mean darkies, like, it's not disrespect at all. It's really just a lot of people who have a darker skin complexion. And it's an interesting feeling. Like, other than like Jamaica that I've been to, this is maybe the second place, maybe Aruba, I guess anywhere in the Caribbean really. But I've not been to this part of Western, Eastern, Southern Africa. And I'm just wondering, like, how am I perceived? Like, do I look African? Do I look Kenyan? I'm sure when I open my mouth, I look American. But I think it's an interesting dichotomy to just kind of feel like you can blend in. One of my friends that lives here did say that someone came up to me speaking Swahili, which is the native language in Nairobi, Kenya. I don't think I caught onto it, but it was like interesting that, like, you know, maybe I am perceived as Kenyan.
Zulu Parade situation has made me start seeing that Black Americans should not be allowed to identify as African Americans if they're not willing to put in the work to uphold African dignity, African traditions, and African culture. Because honestly speaking, a lot of Black Americans actually don't care about Africa, right? Black Americans only associate with Africa when it's trending, right? When it's in fashion. That's what they do. They use Africa as a costume to make themselves look cool.
Everyone is finally being honest. Africans do not want Black people in America to call themselves African American. They never did. They do not associate with you like that. They don't bang with you like that. I remember one time I was in an Uber and an African man, I can't remember what country he came from. He said, "Why do you allow them all to call y'all African American? You're not African." A man from the continent told me that. And ever since then, this was years ago, but even before that, I always identified, you know, with my American roots. Like, I call myself melanin rich. I don't even really like the term Black, but I understand it's a social construct. I get it. It's cultural. I get it. So this man is basically saying we don't deserve to call ourselves African American because we don't stand up for Africans. We don't help them. We're not building up the continent. And then he went into talking about the Zulu Parade, and that took place in New Orleans. First of all, I don't think that they understand that there's like subsets of like different ethnicities within a Black American culture, because they don't understand that each state is like a country. Like people can't conceive of that. So what's going on in New Orleans has absolutely nothing to do with a Black person in Harlem, has absolutely nothing to do with a Black person in Inglewood. We literally we're the same. We have a commonality, but we have different, you know, style. It's so beautiful to see. And they don't stop identifying yourself as African American. That's all I got to say. I mean, do what you want, but they clearly know who's who. They've always told you that you're not one of them. And I always pose the question, how many generations does it take for you to be from a certain place? For you to have roots in a place? If we want to go by the indoctrinated version of history, how long does your family, does your lineage have to reside in a country, a continent, to be from there? How long? Baby, you American. We're melanin. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
Understand why Americans keep going to Africa? Because they don't like us, bro. I ain't gonna say all Africans don't like us. I ain't gonna put that stipulation on all Africans. But a lot of Africans see Americans as like, they see us as privileged. Even though we're Black Americans, we're not as privileged as they think in their head. But they see an American, they see a Black American, like, oh, they think they better than us. Woo woo. Bro, they look at us like how we look at white people. Like, oh, they think they better than us.
Yes, this video is directly to my people from Africa. Yes, I saw a video of a Congolese woman talking down on black Americans. I saw a video of an African woman talking trash to people who paved the way for you. Do you know how many fights do these people fought for you? Just for you to be where you are today. You understand? Do you know how they marched years back just to be free, and even for us to be free? Yeah, I saw a video of an African saying that why is it that people from Africa, and when they come to America, they easily make it. They make it more than the black Americans. Someone should answer her. Like, come on. You are from Congo. You are from Congo, and a lot is going on in Congo. If you know that you can actually make it, why did you not stay in your homeland and make it? What is the competition all about? What is the insult all about? I can't get these things right. What is all this competition all about? Let me tell you, yes, we know that black Americans, yes, their roots is from Africa, right? For those of them that will accept, their root is from Africa. But this is their land. This is where they belong. They are from America. You can't come to people's land and be competing with them. You can't come to someone's place and be fighting them. Stop saying all this trash on social media. You Africans, you are doing the most with all this, your careers and everything. Who are you feeding? Are you feeding anyone? Are you feeding any of your friends? Are you even helping these black Americans? Are you the one helping them? Are you the one taking care of their kids? Are you the one paying their mortgages? Black Americans are very intelligent people, just so you know. If you have ever been with them in class, you will know what I'm talking about. They are not loud. They are just not loud. Why are you Africans that loud when you come to the US? You become a doctor, you become a big deal. You become a lawyer, you become a problem. Do you know how many black Americans that are doctors that we don't even talk about? The noise is just too much. You guys should be calming down. Be calming down. It's no longer funny from the things we see on social media. Anyway, I really want this video to be very short. It just got me like, what should I even say? Like, it wasn't funny when I saw that video. Why is it that? Is it a competition? Do what you want to do. Go to the higher school. Who cares about your career? Who cares about your education? Who cares about it? Anyway, guys, I'm your Edo Queen. Alright, what do you think? Comment what you think. And I'll see you on my next post.
Y'all ever wonder why Africans don't really like us? Well, I was married to an African. I remember we was having a conversation and I said to him, you know, it just really seemed like y'all don't really like us. I was showing him a video. I said, this is what they show us of y'all, that y'all hungry, your ribs is hanging out. So I showed him the video of one of those commercials they would show us like 3 in the morning. Could you spare $1? He said, that is not us. He looked at that video, he laughed, and he said, who is that? He said, that is not us. He said, that's not them in Africa. That was never them starving. I said, what? So then I said, well, what is they showing y'all of us? He said the movies that they see of us is that we are, you know, our men sell drugs, you know, which they do, but they sell drugs and they just murder anything walking. They murder everybody. And so I said, well, what they show y'all about us? He said, they show them that we're prostitutes and we get high. And I was like, what? And so then he said when he went to get his papers from immigration or whoever he get the papers from to come here, he said they told him, don't marry a black woman. You be better off marrying a white woman. So when we're looking at this separateness that we have amongst each other, it was inbred in us. It was inbred to them to fear us. So they fear us and don't like us. We got to wake up, y'all, and come back together and unite in unity. There was things that was done and said to keep us apart. Ashe.
Why do South Africans hate Black Americans so much? Like, what is this? I've been blocking South Africans for a while now. Like, and it can't be about some parade. The parade wasn't even meant to be disrespectful. Majority Black Americans did not learn about that Zulu parade in New Orleans until y'all did. We don't know anything about that. So the attacks is unnecessary and kind of diabolical. And also, I just saw a video with a South African man, and he said that one of you all was fed to pigs by the white South Africans. Why y'all not online using y'all's voice and y'all's platform to protest and to advocate for you all that's getting ate by pigs, that's being disenfranchised? We are not doing that to y'all. So to take digs and to try to make jokes about slavery and police brutality when you all are being fed to actual pigs is insane. Something is wrong. Y'all just use that parade as a catalyst to spew hate and to be xenophobic because y'all really hate us. And when we say, oh, it's jealousy, people like, oh, jealous of what? Jealous of what? It has to be. Because why is all of, like, for what? This is really unprovoked. If anything, that Zulu parade could have been a teachable moment. Y'all could have said that y'all felt, you know, disrespected or whatever. You could have directed it specifically at the people who actually put together that parade. But no, y'all used it as an opportunity to attack Black Americans because y'all hate us. But what the fuck did we ever do to y'all? If anything, we helped y'all. When y'all was literally going through segregation in the 1990s. We helped y'all. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. There was a restaurant called Madiba in Brooklyn. It was one of my favorite restaurants to go to. And some of the proceeds from that restaurant was going to South Africa for aid to help y'all. Y'all hating the wrong people. It's insane. And then I see white South Africans joining in. And y'all think that shit is cute? Yeah, I'm American, but we still share the same hue of complexion. Spread love is the Brooklyn way.
I'm trying to figure out how to say this as nicely as possible, but Africans, what is the obsession with Black Americans, right? Because there's grievances on many different levels. Education, money, where you're from, what language do you speak? I've come to the conclusion that all of the questioning and the BS is coming from y'all side. What is going on? Where you guys just can't understand that we're not immigrants. You don't understand that we can't be deported from America. You don't understand that we've been here for 490, almost 500 years. We don't have nowhere else to go. This is where we're from. We're not going anywhere either. And our government doesn't want to kick us out of this place neither. I'm trying to understand genuinely why it upsets some of you that I cannot be deported, right? Why does it upset you that I have not experienced what you've experienced on your journey from pick one of the 54 countries all the way up until you got to America or Europe? You guys are right, worrying about shit that you shouldn't be worried about. I'm not you and you're not me. I'm a real nigga and you're not. You're African. I'm part of the group who leads the world in culture. That's my ethnicity. That's my group of Blacks. You should worry about what your group is going through, where your group has to go. The same way that Black Americans don't think twice about a single what's them phones called? With an Android watching our every move. Not only watching, but critiquing. You guys are worried about the wrong things. We're not immigrants. We can't be deported. We are American. We're not going anywhere. Stop hating on us, please. It's about to be 2026 in about 5 days. It's a new year. You stop hating on Black Americans, please.
Akata is nothing negative. Akata is an American Black person.
When Africans say Akata just means Black American, they're lying. It's basically their way of calling us the N-word. Why do you come to America and disrespect Black Americans? To the Africans who come here and show us love and respect, you are our brothers and sisters. To the ones who show us disrespect, you're more like leeches.
The reason why y'all speak about Black Americans like this is because of insecurities. Y'all have been occupied and colonized by the British, by a variety of other groups. And that only existed for maybe, I believe that region maybe over 100 years. And if you were to look into the recent studies, I think that came out a few years ago, Nigeria has the highest rates of skin bleaching, meaning at the motherland, when in touch with all of the culture and roots, white supremacy triumphed that culture. that's at home. But look at Black Americans. Given that we live and operate under a culture that inspired Nazis, what was the response? The Black Power movement, a movement that inspired other parts of Africa outside of the diaspora. I mean, in the United States. I believe Steve Biko, South Africa, like they mentioned, the Black Americans. They gave inspiration of embracing Black beauty. Mind you, again, this is a demographic that is in the Americas, out of the motherland, under white supremacy. Again, a culture that inherently is anti-Black, anti-African. And it was Africans that were looking to Black Americans for inspiration. So this is clear projection.
So y'all can tell me if it's just me, but I just been feeling like this entire year I've been finding out that literally everybody hates Black Americans, even Black people all around the world. And no shade, that's probably why our ancestors said all skin folk ain't kinfolk. But at the same time, I feel like the way that people feel about us is the way they should actually feel about white people. Because we didn't do anything to you. We didn't do shit to you. But white people is letting you know they don't fucking like you and they don't want you in their country. That you're mad at us. You got the hostility with us. And I'm gonna be honest, it makes me feel sad, but at the same time, it makes me feel very powerful because I'm like, yeah, they were able to successfully scapegoat us, but it gotta be something deeper. It honestly makes me feel like my people is like actually very powerful in many ways, and we may not be aware of it right now, but when we wake up to it and we tap into it, the world is gonna have a rude fucking awakening.
I just came here to say that as an African American woman who has always loved African culture, have always wanted to visit Africa, love African people, wanted to date an African man and marry one, and ended up with an African baby daddy. I just want to say to all Africans, why do y'all come to America and date Americans when deep down inside y'all really do not like us? Like, y'all feel like y'all are better than us, y'all feel like y'all are smarter than us, and I think y'all be calling us Akatas. Y'all, baby, I didn't even know that this shit is like this. I did not. But dating an African man and having his baby and dealing with his mama and his sisters and his brother and the uncles over there in Congolese. Baby, when I say this, I mean this from the bottom of my fist over here, trying to be a part of our culture and get the benefits of the people that come here, and then don't really like the people. Like, a lot of y'all are like that. A lot of y'all really will blend in because y'all are Black, and then will turn around and try to feel as though your country or continent is above the one that you're currently living in. And I just have to say, there is nothing wrong with having pride about your hometown and where you come from. But baby, if you're gonna come to somebody else's land feeling like you entitled to everything they get, and then try to turn around and feel like you better than them, baby, you need to go back to where you came from. Because a lot of Africans don't realize that you wouldn't be in America if you could get the same benefits in Africa. And that's facts. So y'all might not have been enslaved or experienced slavery or whatever the fuck, but majority of Africa is fucking colonized by fucking Europe. And that's why all y'all want to come to America, because y'all not getting those benefits in y'all country. I don't give a fuck how rich your country is, it's not benefiting of the people. And that's why majority of y'all come to America for the opportunities. And then y'all will turn around and try to shit on African Americans like y'all just the shit and y'all don't even know what the fuck be going on for real. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm going on a rant, but I just really feel some type of way about Africans. And it's really annoying because it's like, as somebody who used to love the African culture, have been studying this shit since I was in the 5th grade. Like, I've always loved Africa. And to become an adult and date Africans, and a lot of y'all do not even fucking like us. That is so disheartening and saddening as fuck. Like, wow. I thought all skin folk was kinfolk, and baby, that is not the case, and y'all are the biggest perpetrators. Stop bringing y'all.
Africans sure got a lot to say about American blacks. Bet. Africans don't dislike Black Americans because we lost our culture. It's because deep down, y'all jealous. Y'all jealous that we the cultural engine. We created the music, the fashion, the slang that influences the whole world, buddy. Y'all really hate it didn't come from y'all, huh? Y'all bought the lie that we was just descendants of slaves, knowing it wasn't true. Cause real talk, our people was already here, bucko. You not looking down on your long lost brothers and sisters. Y'all looking at a stranger. And that's why our energy don't match. And being all the way real, y'all mad y'all ancestors wasn't taken. You mad y'all still living on dirt roads and battling colonial systems, while the ones you think are lost became the blueprint for the black global culture. Y'all could dress like us, talk like us, rap like us, but never forget where the sauce came from. And if we was just slaves, why y'all trying to be us? Y'all say we don't know our tribes, but y'all don't know y'all power. American blacks been through hell and we still came out leaders. We can talk lineage, but make sure you put some respect on that shit. American blacks don't need to prove our origin. Next time you start hating, make sure you check your reflection, partner, cause y'all dressing just like the same people you trying to look down on. That ain't hate, that's jealousy. Go on and own that, rub it in your chest.
Hey family, did I tell y'all about the conversation I had with this African woman from West Africa? And she and I were talking, and I said, you know what? I know that you all are taught in your country to not like black people, stay away from black people in America, black Americans, because you're told that we are lazy, that we are shiftless, that our men don't work, that our women are nothing but baby makers. And she looked at me in surprise. And I said, listen, let's have a real conversation. It's okay. And she said, you're right. They do tell us that. They tell us to only, if you come to America, be around white folk. Don't be around black Americans. And I said, you know what? This is the same conversation I had with another friend of mine who happens to be from Nigeria. And then I remember also having this same type of conversation with a friend of mine who is from where is she from? South Korea. South Korea. And so I realized, guess what, y'all? The world teaches their people to hate black Americans. But you notice that we don't teach, us black Americans are not taught to hate others. And that is why black people are always going to rise to the top. So when chaos happens, just like it's happening in the world today, with Trump, with the immigrant situation, we black Americans are going to be okay. Because we don't have the hatred and vitriol in our hearts. Now, I'm not saying that all black people, nothing's a monolith. Yeah, we got some outliers out there. But for the most part, the hate, the lies, the vitriol that other cultures and races have towards black people, we don't have towards anybody. And that is why we have been able to be blessed, and our generations have been blessed, and we have risen up from the ashes. And that's why we are now doctors, lawyers, astronauts, multimillionaires, hell, billionaires. So people, let them hate. We're going to continue to grow.
I'm watching some of Leo Spells live, and I've seen two people from two different backgrounds call black American slaves. I've seen a Somali person call us a slave and start cussing women out, calling us bees and hoes. And I've heard a Latino man call us slaves. You're nothing but slaves. Y'all don't know where y'all come from. You people are nothing. You build nothing. You own nothing. You're nothing. You're nothing. And I'm like, wow, like y'all really have these sentiments and y'all have these negative views and such vitriol and disdain toward us for what? We built nothing, yet you're coming to a country that our ancestors built. You're coming to a country that has an infrastructure that we heavily helped to curate and create. My lineage built the literal White House. We've built buildings all over this goddamn. My father was a construction worker building buildings. He helped to build the Freedom Towers during 9/11 when those towers fell down. He was there helping to rebuild that site. I know so many of my other friends, black American, who their fathers were literally building monumental buildings all around this goddamn country. So for people to come here and say that, especially immigrants that would not have been able to migrate here had it not been for black Americans without an immigrant background, you all, especially the people from Somalia and from those countries with certain religions, especially the women, y'all come here and pop it to black Americans and pop it on the internet when you would not even be able to pop it on the internet like that in your own country. You would not be able to disparage the president or the leaders in your own countries because you would be off with your... So the fact that these people keep coming, you're a slave. What are you? Especially people in those African countries, because a lot of you all, is very sad, but a lot of you all are still being sold into slavery present day. In Latin communities, Mexico, the trafficking is diabolical. It's just very sad what's going on in other parts of the world. So for you all to come and look your nose down on us and say we own nothing, we have nothing, y'all build, what do y'all own? Y'all fled y'all's homeland. Y'all did not stay and fight. Y'all have no soul, no rhythm, no blues. Y'all do not fight. Y'all flee. And y'all come to a table that was built by the blood, sweat, and tears of Black Americans and talk shit to us and call us slaves. If it wasn't for those slaves, you wouldn't be able to come here. There would not be this great country, the land of milk and honey that everybody and their mother wants to migrate to. It's just so utterly disrespectful and disgusting. And I don't even get offended no more. Y'all keep calling us a slave. Nobody's offended by that. Because guess what? That is a testament to the fact that we are survivors. We are the most resilient group of Black people on planet Earth. They have been trying to G-side us, literally wipe us out. They wiped out some of our entire bloodlines, but we are the ones that survived. And I'm going to keep saying that and singing it from the fucking rooftops. I am very proud of the cloth that I'm cut from. I'm very proud to be a Black American woman. I am very proud of my ancestors. I'm very proud of what my ancestors were able to withstand if it was not for the slaves that y'all keep trying to talk down on and make fun of. Like, who makes a joke saying slave, slave, slave? When you didn't talk about shooting Bill shit. Y'all keep talking about colonization. They stealing this. They stealing it. Blah, blah, blah. You all run your own countries. Y'all not living side by side with people that's been trying to oppress you and unalive you for years the way that we do, thriving at the same rates that we thrive.
A good percentage of Africans, they're not taught our history. They're not taught about the slave trade to an extent. So they don't understand why we romanticize coming to Africa. Because when we come and we visit, they be like, why you all are here? We want to move to America. Why you all coming here? So I think a lot of African Americans, when you come to Wanda or come to Wanda, Africa, wherever, you have to adjust your emotions because Africans don't view us as brothers and sisters. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. They view 90% of them view us as foreigners. So, and I think when we get there and we have that wake up call, it put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths because they come and they thinking that they're returning to something that doesn't exist anymore.
Zambians think about Black Americans.
You know, one funny thing. Zambians, I think we look at Black Americans like they are like us. They are like our brothers and sisters. We don't look at them to be strange. If anything, the white man will look them to be strange. Even Indians, you know that Indians are closer to us more than the Muzungu, more than the whites. But the blacks, everyone except they will just tell by the accent. You know, we have different cultures, but there's a motto which they say in Zambia that we are one Zambia, one nation. So anyone who looks black to us is our brother.
That's true. We are brothers.
Yes.
Sisters,
and we know we are just separated by circumstances centuries ago, but we don't find anything wrong. That's why that's one of the things about Zambia.
So how do you personally view Black Americans?
Be the first Black American that I've met. But then, based on movies and all, they're amazing. Mainly males.
Okay.
I would say they are, with what I see online, I would say most of them, they are crazy, especially their ladies. That's what I would say. They're crazy.
I see Black Americans as the greatest race of the United States of America as a continent. Because...
So I see them like my brothers. I see them like a go-getter, and which back here in Africa, many of us are looking up to them as well. Even if they're far from us, but they're still part of us.
Right on, brother.
No, they're cool guys. Yeah, they're cool guys, yeah. I watch a lot of American shows. Cool guys.
My man.
Once Black Americans get to know a South African person or any African person and we speak, they realize that we have more in common than more not common, you know?
Yeah.
We do have love for each other. But sometimes you know how you fight with your brother as a sibling. It's not because you don't like them. It's not because you don't like them. You know, it's always easier to fight someone who's like you than fight someone who's not like you.
Right.
But that doesn't necessarily mean we hate each other. There's just too much love. We need to give each other a chance and an opportunity to love each other and embrace. And then you'll be surprised how we love each other. I've got a lot of American friends, both black and white. And I tell them all the time, people come, I will host you, I'll show you around.
Yeah.
You'll make your own decision.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, South Africa is a place where everyone, or just Africa is a place where everyone, or the world for that matter. You can live anywhere.
That's facts.
Yeah. That's nice.
So I love it. That was really
From Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just have a simple question for you. How do Kenyans view Black Americans?
We have different perspectives about Black Americans. So for me, I'd say they're cool people. I love how they dress, and also I love Black women, how they stand up for themselves. Yeah.
So, how many Black Americans have you met within your life?
Met? And none.
Well, you met me.
Hey. Okay, then you're the first one.
All right, so how do you think that Black Americans and Kenyans can bridge the gap? How do you think we can do that?
Maybe through these industries, they can just merge and do something with the acting and everything. Yeah, I think they can make a good collab or something. Yeah.
I want to thank you.
They'll act different towards Black Americans than they do to the white tourists. When the white tourists show up, boy, they're skinning and grinning. Welcome to Jamaica, man. Oh, y'all throw that accent? Welcome. Out of many, we are one. Oh, when the white people show up, it's all teeth. Now, when we go to the resorts, hey, brother, can I get an extra towel? Soak your mother. They give you the stank look. Damn, I just need an extra towel, brother. Okay. We're coming up soon. Then it take about 3 hours for them to bring up one wash rag. They do a little passive aggressive shit with us. Come on, they've been doing that. Don't let them make you think this hurricane that made them think like that. See, a lot of these people over there, they're working at them resorts. They live in poverty. The people over there, they can't even access their own beaches over there. You can't go to your own beaches over there. But Foundation of Black Americans, we can go to the beaches. We didn't have to bow down to no European powers either. We didn't have to sign no deals. So that triggers a lot of feelings of inadequacy and a lot of economic jealousy. This is why they always hollering about, we go down there entitled. Oh, you're arrogant. Now, when white people go over there, they don't have to ask twice for nothing. That scene is just normal or professional. See, because in that colonial mindset, in that society, they're taught that white people have the right to demand excellence and good service. But Black people should be passive and grateful. So when foundational Black Americans show up, wanting things to be done right after we spend our money, oh, entitled arrogance. No, that's not entitlement or arrogance. We just want what we paid for. And we don't even ask for much. Just we want a clean room. When we go there, we want good service, clean room. We're giving you all this damn money. Give us some good service. Bumbleclaw, entitled, arrogant.
Many people, they hate African people, but they love Afro-American people.
I really appreciate this message. I have so much stuff to say today, and I'm going to try and focus on one aspect of your video. So it is true that Black Americans do get a privilege over Africans when they're traveling throughout Europe and in other parts of the world. There's an idea. But this is not because they love Black Americans over Africans at all. In fact, we find the same phenomena in the United States, where they love Black American culture. They do not love Black Americans. Because, if we're honest with each other, who's gonna pass me on the street in Italy and be like, oh, there's an American girl? Ain't happening. So, I know this is a whole different time of day, but this is the thing that I have found. And when I first started interacting with Italians, what I realized was very telling in regards to how they felt about race here was the children. Because children are going to tell you the truth that their parents don't. So what I found to be the truth is in kids. So I'm gonna tell a quick story. I was teaching English when I first got here, and and I have multiple stories like this. This is not a one episode thing, and I have stories from other people. And anyway, just for those people who are going to be like, oh, you're judging us on one situation. Anyway, this little girl, I went over to teach her English, and I had been teaching English for several months with this little girl. And her parents were lovely. They were lovely to me, but they weren't there during the English lessons. The Tata was there. Anyway, so one day she looks at me and she's like, where did you get your clothes? I was wearing something I had got in India, so I thought she meant because it was ethnic looking, and I was like, well, what do you mean? And she goes, well, I've never seen anyone who looks like you wearing clothes. I was like, So you to tell me that you walk outside of your house and you see people who look like me walking down the street naked? And you can tell she didn't know what to say to this because that's probably not true, right? And I said to her, I was like, it's funny. I actually saw someone who looked like you in Garibaldi with no pants and underwear on. And she was like, and I was like, yeah, isn't that interesting? I actually saw someone look like you in person who wasn't wearing clothes. Can you tell me the same? And she didn't. So we got on with the lesson, but the children tell you the truth that the adults will never ever say.
Caribbean people, yes, unfortunately some Caribbean people are prejudiced and they do discriminate against Black Americans. It just is what it is. I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story time. I was dating this Caribbean guy. I had no idea that he had another woman. A lot of them are womanizers. I had no idea he was seeing somebody else. I didn't know. We were loosely dating everybody outside, but I entertained. I had friends, but he was the only person that I was like intimate with in the way that we were intimate. I did not know what he had going on. She would call me, harass me, stalk me, and say so many nasty things about Black Americans and tell me my man would never leave me for a Black American woman. You would never be better. You would never measure up to a Caribbean woman. Like just going in because she thought that she was better. I went to school with Caribbeans that would say their school system was better, their islands was better, the air was better, the water was better, everything was better about their culture. Yeah, while being in a school with Black Americans, while their parents migrated over here and they claimed to give them a better life, but they always highbrowed. I had another Jamaican homegirl that I stopped being friends with because she was so obsessed with white people. Like literally, she would say she didn't want dark-skinned kids. Another friend that's Caribbean that said she didn't want her daughters or her kids to be as dark as me. And she was not that much lighter than me. Beautiful woman. And I don't talk to the Jamaican one anymore. But my other friends, like I have Caribbean friends that I absolutely love that, but they have an idea of Black Americans. First of all, they don't like, a lot of them, not all, but some of them don't like being Black. They don't like being dark skinned. They're very colorist. I mean, the bleaching and all of that is very prevalent on a lot of Caribbean islands. Not all. I got to keep saying this because people going to say, not all of us, and blah, blah, blah. There's people on here saying Caribbeans are doing better than the Black Americans. There's Caribbeans saying Black Americans don't have any culture while simultaneously cosplaying us. You're in America wearing Black American drip, using the term drip, using our vernacular, wanting to be a rapper, creating hip hop music, while saying we don't have culture, while you're literally consuming it and embodying it. Now they're saying that Juneteenth is not only exclusive to Black Americans and they could play their soca music in New York City and they could do whatever they want. They could do the pasa pasa if they want to because they own New York now. New York is mainly Caribbean. I'm from New York and I'm a Black American. So absolutely, Caribbeans do discriminate and are prejudiced toward Black Americans. Not all, but absolutely, we're not going to pretend like they don't think that they're better. When we see the types of environments and communities that they come from, we've visited their islands, we know the truth, yet they come over here and act like they're just so much better when if it wasn't for us, they wouldn't be able to migrate here. Anyways, spread love is the Brooklyn way. This is no love lost, but we just cannot, I'm not going to pretend like things aren't what they are. I'm done with the lying. We got to keep it real. It's 2025. Once again, it's all love. I love who love me. I like who like me. If you're a good person, we could be like this. But if you're not, I'm going to call you out.
So I was just on my For You page on RedNote and I saw a question came up multiple times. I think some African American people are wondering, what do Chinese people really think of them? What do Chinese people really feel about them? And I understand why they're asking this question. I just wanted to give my honest opinion as a Chinese person. So first of all, if we want to put people into categories, I think in a typical Chinese mind, there are only two categories. There are Chinese and there are foreigners. So Chinese and non-Chinese. It does not matter your skin color. If you are not Chinese, you automatically fall into the second category, which is foreigners. So no, Chinese people will not treat you differently based on the color of your skin. But because China, this Chinese civilization or China as a country, is made up by the same people and their descendants lived on the same exact land for over 5,000 years. and the majority of the population looks like this. So if you do not look like this, people will notice that you look different. So people will notice the color of your skin. Also, because the concept of racism itself does not really exist in Chinese culture, people will not shy away from telling you that they have noticed the color of your skin. And some of them will even play jokes about the stereotypes that they think is good stereotypes. And also, in terms of racism, I think you have to understand the part of the history to really understand the concept of racism. Taking US history as an example, most Chinese people do not really learn about US history in school. If you do not know about like the hardship, the suffer that African American people had been through, you can't understand what jokes is offensive and what jokes are not, what is appropriate to say, what is not. I'm not saying racism does not exist in China. I mean, nowadays everyone has their own opinion, and also like the world is well connected by the internet. So yes, there are internet trolls, there are racists in China, but majority of the people are just really, really friendly. I mean, like all in all, I just want there is less misunderstandings caused by culture difference basically. And yeah, enjoy this app. I mean, like enjoy RedNote, and have fun on RedNote. Bye bye.
Black Americans, come forward. And even Black Canadians, you guys feel like you're better than Africans. You're not. You're not. A lot of times they also feel like they're better than like Caribbeans as well.
Actually, yeah.
The funny thing is, all of you were on the same boat. They fell off the boat by the water. Caribbeans fell off the boat by the water when they were taking them to America.
Third world countries.
We are better. I don't want to even put comparison. We have the same color of skin. I guess that you guys have been through a lot, like with racism and slavery and all of that. I'm sorry that was your story. And now coming to the country, you are like an hypocrite because you treat us quite similarly to the way white people have been treating you guys. Yeah. And it's worse for us because now we have to deal with white people and we have to deal with Black Canadian and Black Americans.
I have a star in my eye, so this is why this shit look like this. Anyways, I'm not gonna get too much into diaspora wars because I feel like every few months it's brought up, and I'm just sick of us Black people doing this shit. Honestly, it's the most annoying conversation because it shows like how much uneducated people are about the different Black people in the world. But like, let's get back on the topic of how every time Black Americans are brought up, right? Yeah, they always bring the fact that they don't know where they're from. I need y'all to really shut the hell up. They have been in America. A lot of their families have been in America for generations since slavery time, bro. They have been here for centuries. And when they were brought over here, they were stripped of their native language and culture, so they cannot find it. And there's no guaranteed paperwork to trace it back to Africa. God, y'all pissed me off. It is literally impossible to find out where you are from because they didn't document the names and can trace it back. The whites didn't give a fuck about doing that. White people during those times did not give a damn about finding out. Most of our last names are slave owners' last names. We can't find out where our original names are. Why do you think Malcolm X put an X on his name, on his last name? He made it an X for a reason. I find this topic really weird and how it's only focal pointed to Black Americans, but y'all say none to us Caribbeans. You think we started in Jamaica? You think we started in Puerto Rico, Panama, all this? Do you think that's where we were at in the first place? No, we were all in Africa, right? I bet a lot of y'all don't even know the slave trade went from the Caribbean to the Americas. We are also misplaced. You don't ask Jamaicans, yo, where's your family from? Where you originally from? Where your family originally from? Bro, they're gonna say Jamaica. Why? Because they've been there for centuries. Y'all only bring this up to Black Americans. Get off they needs. And for me, I'm a Caribbean American. Both of my parents came over here when my mom was a kid, my dad was like a teenager or young adult, right? So I know my family lineage is back on the islands. I don't know nothing past that. Do you want a cookie for that? Does that make you more Black? Does that make us less Black? Like the point, like, just shut up.
I see it from the US, yeah. Like, we kind of like claim our roots a lot more. I feel like we are more kind of like culturally diverse.
It's really interesting to me when Black British people say this, because you do realize that you have no choice but to cling on to your ethnicity, because British people refuse to allow you to have a culture within their country. Y'all house the original racists. America has its problems, but we most definitely are a melting pot. And y'all are very much so a compartmentalized cafeteria tray. British people will never allow other races to speak for their culture. In America, all different ethnicities have their own specific cultures that do accumulate to the American culture. We enjoy soul food and Taco Tuesdays, and we like to go to hibachi for our birthdays. But when I think of British people as a whole, I only think of white people. I know that Black people live there. I know that Asians live there. I know that Middle Eastern people live there. But as a whole, when we're just speaking about Great Britain, you just think of white people. And that's because they refuse to let anyone else speak for their country or their culture. Y'all were this close to having a half Black princess and Parliament had a damn fit. The girl literally says in the video that if I didn't know where I came from and I just knew myself as a Black Brit, I wouldn't feel like I had an identity. And you're absolutely correct, actually, babe, because your country refuses to let you have one. How have Black British people contributed to British culture? Yeah, I think we're all on the same page on that one.
It's very one-sided, and that's why I keep saying it trickles down to jealousy. Because I tell every Black American, you got to think about it like this. Why is it the first thing a Black British person always wants to do is, oh, we know our roots, we speak about our roots, Yeah, y'all speak about y'all roots, but the funny thing is, where y'all roots are, y'all never lived there. Because my thing is, maybe it's best I don't know my roots, because it seems like the Black British people who scream they know their roots, y'all don't ever live in the countries that y'all have all this pride in. No, instead, y'all leave the country where you were oppressed in and then go to your oppressor's land and make him even more money. Except the difference is, instead for being in your country and them taking all your resources away from you and enslaving you in your own land, y'all get your asses up and then go to your oppressor's land and willingly make him more money. Because my thing is this, if y'all have all this pride in your roots, why are you not there to help make y'all? These are countries where they literally let y'all, like if you're from the Caribbean, they let you have a Black country. If y'all are from Black countries and y'all have all this pride in where you're from, then why are you not there putting wealth and finance in your own infrastructure? Why are you getting your ass up, getting on a ship and a plane, literally paying people to ask them to marry you so you can get citizenship in another country to go live a better life? Because if there's all this pride, then you should not be leaving where y'all are from in droves. Like, y'all should not be leaving in droves if y'all love where you're from so much. And that's where we get back to the lack of a community. Because the first thing they'll say is when I ask them, well, why aren't you in the country where y'all have pride in? Oh, corruption. So what you're saying is, in a country where if everybody's Black, the government is mainly Black, they don't even look out for you. Explains a lot. And then once again, you look at everybody crazy when we say some of y'all sold your own people. It shows because in the country y'all are from, y'all get treated like shit by y'all own people. So y'all can miss me with the whole, we know our roots, we know where we come from, heritage. Once again, let me break it down to you. If you're Caribbean, you do not know your roots. Your roots was created once you got there on a ship that a lot of British, Spaniards, Dutch, French people brought you to. Portuguese as well. And once again, y'all don't make nobody over here want to know their roots, because seeing how y'all don't like to live in the places that y'all come from, why would I want to be there? A lot of y'all always had the same story where it's that y'all go from where y'all are from to like the UK and y'all be living in a 1-bedroom apartment with 5 or 6 different families from around the world. Lets me know that, baby, I think I'm all right where I'm from, because if you're willing to leave where you're from to go live in a 1-bedroom apartment or flat with 20 different strangers, it lets me know everything I need to know. But, oh well, all I say is when the next soccer game comes, tighten up them laces.
Yes, of course. Like I said, this is my experience. I'm not negating or denying anyone else that is black in Australia, Aboriginal in Australia, and their experiences. But this is just my experience, my personal experience as a black woman in Melbourne, Australia. It's been great. I ain't gonna lie to you guys, it's been great. I cannot remember a single racist incident I've had in Melbourne. I found a job within 3 weeks of moving to the city. I found an apartment relatively quickly as well. My race, I don't think, impacted my ability to find a job or a home. Going around Australia, I've been to Sydney, I've been to Brisbane, I've been to the Gold Coast. Again, I have not experienced any racism in those parts of Australia. Maybe a couple of stares or like lingering looks the further up you go, but nothing that has made me be like, rah, this country is mad. I have heard from some girls in Perth, I've heard from some girls up in Cairns, maybe Darwin, that it is a lot more racist there. I don't deny that. Like, obviously we know how the country started and where it started from, so I am not saying that there's not racism in Australia. Obviously there is. I'm just saying that my personal experience, I haven't had any. And I also live in Melbourne, which is probably the most diverse city in Australia, if I'm not mistaken, so that's probably, well, obviously a factor as well. What I will say though is that there aren't many black people. Don't come to Australia expecting, or don't come to Melbourne expecting London, or expecting New York, expecting Paris. You have to search to find the black people, but there are black people here. I have a social club literally for black girls in Melbourne, so there are black people here. I don't know if I've just been extremely lucky or if it's because I live in the CBD, if I live in Melbourne, I don't know. But yeah, my experience has been pretty good, and I think if you're a black woman thinking of coming to Melbourne, don't be scared of racism because you'll probably be fine. If you are thinking of going to other parts of Australia, maybe find a black creator that's also living there and ask them what their experience is, because I can't really comment on that. But yeah, I'm very happy with how my life in Australia is, and I think if I was getting like racially abused, I would not have been here for 1.5 years.
So let's begin the conversation, and we start with where the tension is loudest. These are people who they dislike black Americans. They include Africans, immigrants, and some non-black people who they don't just criticize black Americans, they actually resent them. Their language is familiar. They say black Americans complain too much, they had the opportunities but wasted them. That black Americans, they blame everything on racism, they're lazy, they feel entitled, they're aggressive. And what stands out isn't just the criticism that they have for the black Americans. It's the certainty in their voices. You will rarely find curiosity in their voices, not a trace of history. Rarely no attempt to understand how black Americans arrived where they are today. So instead, for them, the conclusions come first and then the explanation is built backwards. And you know what's interesting? Most of these speakers, you'll hear them say they want to be, honest and not hateful. But honesty without context, brothers and sisters, isn't truth. It's opinion dressed as, fact. And when these talking points, show up across different countries, across different cultures, accents, it begs the question, are these independent conclusions or their shared narrative? Even beyond that, not everyone feels the same way. You see, there are some Africans, some non-black people who say they like, they respect, and even, admire black Americans. They point to, civil rights leadership that black Americans have, exemplified, cultural influence, music, style, language, the role black Americans played in, opening doors for them. Listening to them, I could tell that, these people speak from, a very genuine heart, and it would be very dishonest of me to, disregard that. But here's where the tension arises. Admiration doesn't, automatically mean understanding. And liking someone's output doesn't necessarily mean that, you respect their position. So the big question at stake isn't, do you like black Americans? No, that's not the question we are asking. We're asking, what is it that you like black Americans for? Is it their humanity or, maybe their usefulness or something else? And then the third one, which is the most obvious group. This is the white perspectives characterized with, hostility without apology, particularly in Western societies. Here's where the dislike is more direct. Black Americans are framed as, a problem group, a threat, they are framed as a burden and a source of disorder in society. Even when their language is kind of polite, their policies aren't. This isn't about confusion or misunderstanding, it's about power. Because when a group challenges the moral story of a nation, when the existence exposes hypocrisy, resentment hardens into hostility. Black Americans aren't hated because they failed. They are hated because, they remind people that, this system was never meant to be fair in the first place. Now let's transition to the reactions that, personally I felt that they hurt the most. Many Black Americans don't expect hostility from, white America, but they feel betrayed when it comes from Africans. This group says, we fought for the rights you currently enjoy, you benefit from those we opened ourselves, you criticize us using the same stereotypes, that have been used against us. For them, the pain isn't just about disagreement, it's dismissal. It feels like history is being erased, minimized, or rewritten, and when the resentment builds, it turns into something deeper than anger. That's disillusionment, brothers and sisters. But not all Black Americans agree. Some say, my African friends, they love me, this is exaggerated, it only exists online, we are creating division where none exists. And to be honest, they are not lying. The experiences are real, but the experiences isn't universal. What one person would feel like, as an acceptance, for another it would be kind of a disrespect. Both can exist at the same time. The danger comes when one experience is used to invalidate other people's experiences. So let's look at the core truth holding up everything together. Here's the uncomfortable reality, brothers and sisters. Black Americans sit at a strange intersection, admired by some, resented by others. They are studied, they are copied, they are blamed, and they are debated constantly. They are one of the few groups that are forced to prove their suffering, while also at the same time being told to move on from it. So when Black Americans argue whether they are liked or hated, that argument itself is the evidence. Groups that are secure don't even debate about, humanity. So even as I near the end of this, the big question isn't, do people like Black Americans? That isn't the question. The real question is, who gets to define them and for what purpose? Because when you listen closely, you'll realize that this conversation has never been about feelings. It's about history, it's about power, and who is allowed to speak without being punished for it. I challenge you to listen to the clips again, not to pick any side, but to notice what keeps getting repeated over and over again. And beyond that, folks, I'm not telling you what to think. I just want to hear what you heard in the conversation. Which perspective in the video felt most honest for you and why? Let's engage in the comment section below. And that's my take on this subject matter. I'll see you guys in my next video.